Refresh this. This should be connecting, and this should be live in a moment. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Today is part 4 of the one-part series where I'm cleaning up the pen tool. And I think yesterday we got pretty much to the point of understanding how to do it. Now we just have to finish doing it. So we knew that we can get rid of the add line functions. Ah, yes. And the point was, I think I was doing it here, is that, yeah, we needed to figure out which of these points we're looking for, right? So we need to decide if there's already a line in the current cell. And for that to happen, we need to kind of look at, you know, what number versus what line we're drawing. And this 7-9 versus 8A, I think depends on which... yeah, we'll worry about those in a minute. So I think the last thing we did was, as I'm, let's say, draw over here, it would hit RC, true, false, false. All right. So let's get rid of the get center edge line logging here. This is happening in line 52. Ah, yes. Okay. So, and we can actually use this as well to determine, sec, still a bit high up. Erase mode. So, erase mode depends on the cell, and I think let's look at edge line because that's the one with a special case. Ah, so here we did this before we actually kept pulling the cell out. Okay, all right. So, before we're getting to here, if false and, so this will never trigger. Let's just have a look at cell RC and not worry about sec cell for now. And then basically we determine which of these values we want to look at. And I think we're gonna do that. So now I just want to go quickly through different things, right? So we have a center line here. So this would be on 0, 4, and it's of type 1. So then we go down, that's of type 2. Then we go across here. That's still 0, 4, type 8 or A, but we know this is 8. And if I do this, it tells us it's negative 1, 4. Okay. So, if is equal to 1, okay. So our function here is basically dependent on this. So let's just stuff that in here. So if centerline is true, then it's 1 or 2 according to this. So if it's is centerline, then it's this 1 or 2. Else, now we're in edge line mode. And now so we're in edge line, right? And we're gonna look at these. So we're doing is horizontal. And yeah, okay. So if we're at horizontal here, and we're gonna go with, so 8 or 7 in the normal case. So 8 is horizontal true. I feel like vertical and horizontal, the orders are switched. Let me just double check that. And hori. Nope. Edge. I think it's inside render pen, right? So vertical line is 9. Vertical line, right, left, bottom, top. So these are vertical is 7, 8, and then here, oh wow, I actually didn't order the numbers the same, vertical, horizontal. All right, well, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it, even though it hurts my OCD. So 7, 8, except if we have negative values, right? So if we're horizontal, our negative value is in the column. So cellrc.c is less than 0. We'll do this. Then we'll do this, else we do 8. And I think I'm going to do greater or equal to 0. Put the 8 first as the sort of default case, and then the A as our second case. And then for the vertical, it's 7 and 9, and we're looking at the rows. And I think that should cover all the cases. So let's see. So let's go horizontal. So that gets us an 8. And 8 is horizontal bottom edge. Okay. Now vertical right edge is a 7. Vertical right edge. Center horizontal is a 1. And I'm looking at the number after 10 here. And a 1 is a horizontal line left to right center. Okay. Now go center line vertical. That's a 2. Center vertical top to bottom. And now finally we're checking the edge lines. So an 8 is a horizontal line bottom edge. Okay, that's not correct. So cell R. I flipped row and column, right? So the horizontal, it's the row that matters. Okay. And that should give us the right value, right? So here we got pen A, and then here we get pen 9, all right? And then here we get 7 as expected, and you know, the usual 8 and so on, right? So let pen val equals, and that's basically this. Just a little nested thingy. And with this, you can almost put this into a nested object or something and then just reference it. But I'm not going to change anything now. All right, so we have the pen value. And now we need to adjust our clipping if we're in the negatives, right? So if pen val equals 9, then seg rc dot c plus plus, and if pen val equals a, it's row plus plus. And then we just output cell rc again and see what we get. So if I draw the bottom edge, we get a pen val of 8. If I draw the top edge, seg rc, cell rc. Right? If I draw the top edge, we get a 0, 4, and if I draw the bottom edge, we also get a 0, 4. Here we should get a 0, 8, here we should get a 0, 9, here we should get a 0, 0, and here we should also get a 0, 0. And then this should also give us 0, 0, 0, 0, and this should give us an 8, 9, and a 9, 8. And this is a 9, 9. So 9, 9 should never have center lines. Well, we can force it, but we'll clip for that. Okay, so we're now at this point, and it's now safe to get the cell, as long as we are in the right, in a valid line position, right? So we're not allowing center lines. We're gonna probably, hey, good morning, Shelby, how are you? We're probably gonna look at the X marks as well, because we basically have to add the same kind of mechanism to the X marks. So currently X marks are 3 and 4, and I'm guessing they'll be B and C once we get to those. Okay, so let's remind ourselves what the next step is. So we've done this, we found the cell. Here we get out of bounds. And now we're basically looking at this, right? So we get a seg cell. And if this is undefined, we'll just do a console.error cell out of bounds, and we're just gonna do cell rc pen val and cell. Don't think we're gonna call it seg cell. Just gonna call it cell, and then else. This is now where we look at some other stuff here related to the erase mode. Now, this stuff we only have to do if we're trying to determine erase mode, right? Otherwise, we're going straight to add to path. So, len is greater than 0.5. That's basically this line. So then we don't even need cell RC here. Yeah. So here we go straight if this.erase mode equals undefined. And then it's all of this up to add to path. Okay. And then else we'll do this. But before we do this, but we'll also do sol.log. I'm just gonna label this prop contains. We'll just do this. Well, that's kind of silly because that's just gonna be erase mode. And instead of segval, we call it the pen val. All right, let's see if that works. So if I go across here, erase mode is true. If I go back here, hit reset, erase mode is false. Erase mode is false. True. Reset. False. Okay. So if I go down this way, erase mode is true. But let's say if I go from here to here, erase mode is true. If I go up, erase mode is false. If I go over, erase mode false. So that's our start line. One sec. I want to find a start point where I can also hit the center line here. Yeah, the thing is, one thing I don't like is I can start here and drag right and get a left-facing center line. So maybe that's something we need to limit. That it only offers us, like it ignores the reverse direction, right? Even though, I mean, the reason I'm allowing it at the moment is because I figured that, like, the problem on a touchscreen is that you can just press down and just touching it once can create multiple touch events as your finger sort of rolls around, right? And your finger might be 3 times the size of a cell on a mobile screen. But I think once we're hitting half the line length, where we're actually going to talk about drawing the line, I think at that point, the line should always, the same way we're using the angle of the line as our orientation, we should never draw backwards. But I think I'm going to finish implementing it first, and then I'm going to go back to that. So our implementation currently says, okay, now we're in whatever mode, right? But it didn't go into erase mode. So if I go from here to here, we're in erase mode. It does go into erase mode, but I think the code that actually does something with the erase mode hasn't been added back in yet. Or maybe it has. So where is erase mode actually being used? Is it in draw line hint? So draw line hint, erase mode. Well, what is this? Value 1, rogue 0. Value 1, I'm not actually sure. I think this initializes, oh man, I'm getting hot. I think this initializes it if we don't currently have a line part being the SVG element that we're, a line element really. I call them parts internally because they're potentially larger than one element. That's fair enough. And then we're basically just updating the path. So it only matters the initial erase mode setup. So erase mode is set to true here. Why am I setting it back to false here? Ah, that's why. I guess I put that in there for testing. So if I go in here now I'm in erase mode. I can erase all of these. Erase mode, draw mode, erase mode. Erase mode. Yeah, you see, this was supposed to be, and I think it did the whole jumping backwards thing. It's still not perfect. I'm still unhappy sometimes with the choices it makes. I'm trying to think what are the tweakable parameters, right? One of them is at what point do we lock in the decision for drawing the line? Currently it's at half the line length. We might want to increase that to 0.6 or 0.7 of the line length. So you basically have to draw most of the first line before it makes a decision. So it has more information, you know, because drawing half the line, it's easier to make a to have it not be certain of it, right? All right, let's get rid of some of the log spam and make sure it knows kind of what we're doing here, right? And it's kind of funny because we have all the information of the cells, but then we're turning them into regular points, and then later on we are reinterpreting those points. But that's something we might be able to optimize another time. So we're skipping out if there's no line. Although I don't know if we still want to update this then. And we might want to log out when some of these decisions are made, especially decisions that are less frequent. So we might want to do something like this. Console.warn len equals 0. And we'll just add current path just to get an idea of where we are at. Because it could be simply that that it just updated the current position to where the mouse cursor is, and then, you know, it's just at that point we don't have information to draw another segment. So then we have min distance, which is actually the thing we're gonna use. And I'm also using it in the center edge line, except, am I really using it there? Min distance. So it projects the line outwards. I'm almost tempted to get rid of that. I think this only affects the calculation of math.memo. So it basically says if, yeah, I don't think we need this here. Basically, this only really affects, because it doesn't affect the direction of the line, right? So it affects where the center point is projected to for deciding center to edge lines. But we're actually kind of doing this out here as well. Because by projecting forward, it almost doesn't make a lot of sense there. So I don't think we need minimum distance here. So if I do this 1 over length, we're multiplying by 1 over length. Instead of min distance. So then min distance here isn't used at all. Right? Probably want to rename that. And then min distance can be used down here as, let's say, like this. Length is greater than minimum distance. All right. I think that should be sane. All right. I'm gonna make these a little bit more transparent. And the dots, will make them 6s like that. And then we have these lines, so we'll make these C's. And make them a little thinner. Hey Smack, how are you doing? Did you change your nickname? You know what I would like to do? I would like to actually draw the actual position of the mouse when we're adding a point. So every time we add a point, I also want to add the current mouse position to a separate line, to a separate debug line. So we'll do a this.debug path equals, or let's do this.debug path equals this.debug path for empty array, right? And then every time we're adding a point to the line, and we did a thing up here somewhere. Current path is greater than 0. ARC equals. So we're resetting the if current path. Because I was just thinking, do we actually need to add things to the current path up here? Here rather than here? Because this current path isn't used in here. Excuse me. Because I could say, okay, only when we're adding a point to the path do we check if there's no point in it. So it adds the first, the second point at the same time, basically. Then we don't have to remove things from it either. Something like this. All right. And now we can do this dot, what did I call it? Debug path. This dot debug path dot push, and not RC1, but the drag start position, right? And then when we're adding an actual path, we're going to push the input position like this. In the web app. Can you open your console and see if there's like any errors in the console? Maybe you're running out of allocated space. If you're on the test server has a feature in it now that it will offer you to free up some space. But obviously, you don't have your data stored in the test server, I imagine. Although, I would appreciate you guys using the test server for playing to help me test it. I hate releasing the test version and then everybody is like, "Whoa, this thing is broken." And I'm like, "Geez, it's been in testing for 3 months." Thanks. So, draw line hint. Draw line hint. So at this point, we have a debug path. I need to find some more music. I've been listening to this one album too many times, but it's the only one I have permission to use on a stream. And I'm tired of getting struck with copyright strikes. So cell RC. I'm just thinking, can I clean this up and turn this into a nicer function, like a get pen val function? I mean, this needs these 3 elements, and by the time I pass these into a function. But maybe it might make things a little bit cleaner. So if we have a const get pen equals, and we'll say we need is horizontal, we need is centerline, we need is horizontal, and we need a cell RC. And then this is basically just this thing here, just wrapped up in a nice, neat little package, especially one that I can collapse. Then I can just do this. Right? And then we have a reset here somewhere. Const line reset. For now, it's just gonna put all of this in here. All right. We're just gonna call line reset, but instead of, so the question is, should I reset if we're below the minimum distance here? What is length equal to? So length is equal to I don't think we want to use len from down here anymore. And then we can just use eblen here. What is it called? Minimum safe integer number dot min safe integer. No. Epsilon. All right. Yeah, this will be the last new feature on this test version. Then I'll update the letter feature, and then like next week this got to go live. It's been sitting there for too long, and it's, you know, I put in a bit of promo for my Patreon and so on, and I kind of really need the support at the moment. So I hope, you know, there's 100,000 people using the site every month. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, we reached 1 million like a few days ago, and we're already up 24,000 over 1 million. Like I think usage is actually taking up at the moment. Let me actually refresh the numbers here. Like these are the numbers, and you can see, oh wow, look at that. So March is already at 70,000 new users. Previous record was 72 in January, which was quite a spike. Actually, I can do users. How is it so similar though? It's like, oh, they're on different scales, I think. Oh, that sucks. I wish these scales were the same. And then it's not a versus if it's like, oh, that's not really very useful. So here, total users was 108,000, and then total users here. Oh, we are actually already there. So we will actually have a bigger month this month than we had in January. Cool. But yeah, like I think it's time I put my Patreon link in front of some of those people. Anyway, let me get the chat back up. So we do a line reset if current path is defined and the length is less than or equal to 1 and AB length is less than 0.5. Actually, here we only care if it's less than minimum distance, right? Now, the reason a reset matters here, do we do a full reset? Yes, we do. Yeah, so it does make sense to have these be different. So this becomes the full reset. And I think I'm going to change that current path will never be undefined. I'll just initialize it as an array. And I don't set it to undefined. I just set the length to 0 later. So anything else we can simplify right now? I mean, this is the whole erase mode calculation. What do we need here? We need getPen. We need RC1, RC2. We need... But penval is entirely internal to this function here. So we could basically do something like get erase mode, pass in a bunch of stuff, and spit something out, right? So we're gonna pass in RC1, RC2. Or do we want to pass in the cell RC and calculate that on the outside? Although cell RC is only used in here, so the whole point is to pass in what we need, right? And then we'll pass in these two. This horizontal is center line is horizontal. And then I think it should just pop this out. So in this case, we don't care about this check. That happens on the outside. And then there's a bounds. And then return erase mode. Defined return. Else we do this. And then penval and cellRC are entirely internal to this. And then we can just do this. If this erase mode is undefined, erase mode equals get erase mode, RC1, RC2, and then these two. And I think this is actually entirely independent of any other things in here. Well, we need grid, but we can do that easily. Right? I'll move this up here. Where are the other functions? Here. Next to getPen. In fact, getPen is only used in here. Just inline that here. And we can maybe do this. Right? And this is commas still. So here we can do this.line reset and this.get erase mode. I think that should be everything. Len is not defined. Am I using len in here? No, wait. 386. 386. Ah. Yeah. Because that's a replication for the debug lines. So, good, it's not defined. Yeah. We need. I still have those stupid gnats or whatever they are. All right. Do we have finally everything? Yeah. All right. So the debug path is getting it's not getting reset. So let's see. Let's do some of these things here. Let's initialize things a little bit cleaner. Get rid of that. So the problem right now is that that function that adds the point to the line, which is, where is it? Add to path. This actually checks if we should add or remove a line. So what does it do? If path.length is smaller or equal to 1, we're pushing the point. The problem with that is that it might push the same point twice. So we don't actually want to do that, right? So what we really want to do is, hey, Izzy, or ISS, are you related to the International Space Station? All right, if path.length is greater than 1, if path.length is greater than 1 and RC is equal, next RC, path.length minus 2. So that tells us if the path is... I don't actually check if the previous point is the same as the current point, which is interesting. Because this presumes the path is at least 2 points long, and that the previous point, not the previous point, the one before the previous point, is the same as the current one. So we actually need to compare to the last point as well. We don't want to add the same point twice to the path. I don't think that ever makes sense, right? So So step 1, if length, I'm just trying to think, can I make a singular statement that always results in a push? No, right? Because we can have a push, a pop, and nothing. Because we don't want to pop if the current point is the same as the previous point. So let's go from the most specific one. If length is greater than 1, i.e. 2 or greater, and the current line, the current point that we're adding is equal to the one before the last point in the line. So imagine if we're having a line of A, B, and we're trying to add A, then actually what we want to end up with is a line that just has A in it, right? Or let's make it like this, add B. We want to end up with a line that is AB. So that means we've drawn, let's say, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going back by 1. So that was our ABC. We've gone back. Now the A is the same as the previous one, and we end up with AB. Exactly. Now, if we have ABC add C, we want to end up with ABC. And if we have empty at anything, we want to end up with A. So these are our 3 cases. If we're adding, just for completeness sake, if we're adding A in this situation, we want to end up with ABCA. Okay, so let's deal with this one first. And we need to have at least 3 points. Do we? No, because obviously this could be BC. We can say add B and it would become B, right? So length is greater than 1. If it's equal blah da 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 da, then we do path.pop. So that's our case 1. Then the next case we care about is this one. So this was our case 1. We're popping. Here, that's not our case 2. Our case 2 is... this is our case 2. Because the other 2 cases are do nothing cases. Ah, no, wait. We have this case as well. Ah, no, then this is our case 2, sorry. Then the do nothing case is our case 2. In every other case, we're just pushing, right? These are our push cases, right? So now we're in our case 2, else if... I'm missing a brace here. If... we're just checking for equality. We don't check for length. We probably do want to check for length. If length is greater than 0 and not is equal. So it's not the same as the last point, otherwise we're hitting, yeah, then do nothing. And I would like to swap these 2. So if length is... if length is not equal to 0, which is this situation, or RC is equal, if length is not equal to 0, we just push. No, sorry, we'll just invert that. Because we still need to, this greater than 0 is just a sanity check, so this doesn't fail. So if we're greater than 0 and not equal, greater than 0 and not equal. Sorry, my brain. Easy, all right. So my brain. Because I wanna have the final case be our do nothing case. So this is gonna be our pop case, right? No, this is gonna be our push case. So, and we're going to push whenever this is not true. And this is only true if length is greater than 0 and the last one is equal. Because if the length is not greater than 0, i.e. it is 0, then we don't want to do that check. And any other time, if the point we're adding is the same as the last point that's already on the path, then we don't want to do anything. So that should be it. And that should be the simplified version of this. Without the nesting. Yes. Don't know why I did that, because it's supposedly doing the exact same thing, right? Ooh. Yeah, that was a terrible idea. Wait a second. Oh no. Oh no. Let me make a copy of this. I think I just did a doo-doo. So if I do this now, right? Why does this behave differently than this? If our path length is smaller or equal to 1, so we're doing this, we're pushing. What I don't like about this is if our path length is 1, we're going to be pushing the same thing again, which I wanted to avoid, right? If RC is equal to the one before the previous one, smaller or equal to 1, so it's 2 or greater, then we're popping. So this one will pop the same thing multiple times. Why would that not be a problem? Let's use Ling here at least. Well, I feel stupid now because I spent a bunch of time doing a refactor that not only is not necessary, but it also is broken. We're still flickering. Why are we still flickering? Debug path is not resetting. Well, we're not actually using it yet, so let's just not output this one. Let's output current path though. Curious. I think the flicker is happening because we're doing a reset. And we're doing it every frame. No, we're not. The heck? Alright, what's going on here? Any ideas? So current path now has 2 points. So it keeps adding and removing a point, which is kind of what I was suspecting was going to be a problem here. There was something going on earlier. Ah, yes, I'm an idiot. Because I'm using AB length, which goes all the way back to the first point. No, wait, that's not the problem. It's that we're using AB. We're doing a reset check here, but then we're calculating a new AB length thing. Should we do this first? I'm realizing our AB length here is inaccurate now. So we need to recalculate that here. So let's do this. Let's input len, and then we're going to use input len here just to clearly differentiate them. Because for this check, if we're going to reset, it all depends to our first position of the mouse. while this length needs to be the actual length of the line we're working from, and we're obviously jumping to, you know, if I'm drawing the first line, now we're drawing from the red point onwards. Yeah, which probably also means that the code I wrote is actually fine. And the bug was in code I did earlier that I didn't immediately test until when I started writing this code. Like a chump. Always test your code. Never assume. So to go back, we actually have to go past the 0.7 line for the delete to kick in. You see, because right now it's measuring the distance to the red dot. The moment I go back on that line, now I can draw a new line. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. The only problem is it kind of pops me over to a new position. And now, even though I feel like I should be further this way... Whoop. Oh no. Now I can do this. But once I'm back here, don't know why it would ever give me that line down here though. What the heck? How did it jump over there? Okay, from this point I should never be able... because it draws the line in reverse. So that's the problem right now. Glad I managed to help you fall asleep, dude. So, yeah, I need to make sure the lines are in the right orientation. Okay, but this is fine at least. We can move on from this. Slowly, slowly, we're getting it a little bit cleaned up. And this part, if line type is undefined, do I really need to do all of this if line type is defined? So line type gets defined where exactly? Here. Because I need to figure out if the reset might happen. Do we need to do the other stuff if line type is already defined? Do we need this horizontal, is center line, all that stuff? I think we do. Yeah. All right, let's draw our debug path then. And I think we can do this with debug path like this. Let's also make sure this is the right thing. We want to make this does the debug line accept arcs of D? I guess it does. Okay. So we should be able to just do this. Something like that. I think that'll work. Huh? I mean, these should be completely ignored then. So the purple is the actual... Whenever we add a new line segment, that's where the mouse was at that point. Which is actually quite interesting. I almost want to show kind of the error by showing the the difference between the mouse position and where the actual line ended up. And this was a center line. So let's try an edge line. So I can go back and reset. Now if I go here, I'm all up deleting lines. If I do this, I'm all up deleting edge lines. Ah yes, and we haven't done the clipping yet. Okay. For now, this is just more debugging noise. But this might actually help us fine-tune things a little. So let's do the clipping then. Gotten rid of that. Gotten rid of that. We're still doing all of that. We don't do that anymore. We don't have that confidence algorithm anymore. And this was the original code down there. And all of this is indented unnecessarily by 1. All right. Slowly coming down, considering basically from here downwards, it's all just debugging. And it's actually not even that much anymore. So here we're defining the line type. It's not equal undefined. Forced is center line. Let me just check this. Get erase mode. No. Where's the thing where we're using forced as center line? Can I just pass in the is not equals undefined? So let's see. Forced is center line. If line type is not equal to undefined. Because we're converting it to a is center line. Okay. So we can just put that in here. And we can get rid of all these 3 things. No, that's why I did it. Oh, I'm an idiot. Because this will always be true or false. And we don't have a tertiary value. If I do undefined and undefined equals true, what do I get? I do get undefined. So then if I do false and false, we get false. And if I get true and true, I get true. That actually works. It's just that I have to repeat the value then, and it almost defeats the point. But basically I can do this. Basically. Okay. Clipping. Clipping is next. So clipping should be done. We can either do it when we get the cell reference. Let's just have a look at the clipping code. I think we have, this one is the more complex ones. No, wait, why is this? Let's just copy this one. This is the center line clipping. And we clip by... Let me think. The only place we need to clip is... Yeah. I guess we can clip here. Center line clip. And then we have edge line clip here. So that's only a one-liner. But I think what we really want to look at is R1, RC1, RC2. Because the midpoint... So RC1, RC2, and let's get rid of these. So RC1, RC2. And we said we're always... The problem is, right, I could start here and somehow maybe fabricate a backwards line kind of thing. Somehow. Wait, how do I produce a backwards line? So I start from here. So it goes from red to blue. All right. I'm probably going to do a simple version first and then simplify it afterwards. So previous RC, next RC. I think at this point, those two numbers are... Yeah, so those are the points, the endpoints of the line. So edge line clipping, we can do by the midpoint. Now we don't have a midpoint. So I think what we can do is, I'm just going to call this clip. And we're just going to say, okay, let's look at the center line first. So if it's center line, nope. If it's center line, we'll do math.min rc1 dot center line. Let's do blah, 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 columns first. So that's the x axis, right? rc2 dot column needs to be greater than greater or equal to 0, and math dot max needs to be smaller than grid dot calls. And then here we'll do grid dot calls and rows. Smaller than calls is center line. So if we're doing center line, if is center line, so we could either combine these checks or we do it by, we can do is horizontal. We'll do a column only check. And if it's vertical, we'll do a row check. And by using min and max, we're making sure that both endpoints of our line are within that space. And we probably want to do this, this, I'm just going to do C and R. And the same thing again with maxes. Like that. Right. If we're horizontal, do this. If we're vertical, do that. Elsewise, we're not a center line. If we're not a center line, we are edge line. And edge lines can go all the way up to the... do they go to -1? No. Yeah, wait a second. Let's see what those min-maxes actually get us for the various edge cases. Excuse the pun. So if I go from here to here, let me reset this, restart. So if I go along here, so the minimums are, we're looking at the last two. So 0.5, 0.5, 1.5, and the maximums are, in a situation like this, 10.5, 9.5, CR. So minimum is 9.5 and maximum column is 10.5. Okay. And rows columns, we probably, you know, don't know what those are. And let's have a look at edge lines. So the leftmost edge lines end up at 0, 0. 0, 0, 0, yada, yada. 0, 0, 0, okay. And then the bottom edge goes up to 10. Okay, while these go along... So that's not allowed, 10.5, 9.5. So on the center lines, we can go all the way to 0.5 over the cell line. So if I go from here to here, it's 10, 10. So we go to 10.5. No, we're not allowed. If we go from here to here, 9.5, we are allowed. If we go from here to here, column 11, we are allowed. And here, column row 10. Wait. Column 10. Yeah. Just column 11 is not allowed. All right, and then at the top, this isn't allowed. So this needs to be above 0, and it's the same with these. As long as we're 0 or greater, that should be fine. So 0 greater, and then smaller or equal to the grid columns and grid rows. Okay. This is the same now for both center lines. That'd be cool. I can simplify this. So clip false, true, true, false, true, 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 false, true, 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 false, true, 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 true. But of course, going over here, false. True, false, true, false. So center line doesn't affect anything actually. So we can get rid of this whole thing. Just use that part. Just make sure both points are within our designated zone. Keep both points within the designated area. Let's check this again. So clip true obviously needs to be inverted. Clip false. Because yeah, we go up. False. If I stay here, true. True. Wait, what? False. Okay. So equals, so let line out of bounds equals not this. And frankly, I guess we can get rid of this. So we can just AND all of these things together. So this and this is greater than 0. And this and this. Oh, come on, give me just freaking one bracket. Bracket, brace? What do you call these round things? All right. Here we go. Let me just double check. But all the chats seem to be working. All right, so far so good. Discord. All right. Final. Twitcheroni. Yeah, it looks like the rate of patron uptaking is slowed down. I guess everybody who wants to become patron has become patron right now. Kind of sad. All right. False, 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 false. True. False. True. False. True. False. That's true, but that's false. False, 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 false. True. True. False. True. Okay. So, previously, when we hit the clip, we just didn't do the thing, right? I think it makes sense to just not proceed and just leave things as they are. All right. So wait a second. What's going on here? So if I go down here, why is it doing that now? Why did it? I mean, if I look at this, it looks to me, yeah, it's one of those edge cases. Basically, this center distance versus this center distance, right? Does it make any sense that instead of using center distances, we use endpoint distances? Because, for example, in a situation like this endpoint distance and these two endpoint distances are much... Like these two center distances might be similar, right? But the endpoint distances, I think, are heavily in favor of the center line here. Let's have a look at that. And that's happening up here. Get center edge line. Oof, it's not dissolving. Gotta rehydrate. Forced is center line. So the EC bias is progress along line from mid RC, mid A, mid B, delta ACE. Yeah, now I'm remembering. We didn't use centerline distance, right? What we did was we took the two options, like this, and then we said how far along mid RC, mid A, mid B. So the mid A, mid B, yeah. So that's our EC bias value in that perspective. So the idea would be, instead of doing from mids to mids, we'll do the same thing for the two start lines, right? So mid A, mid B. And RC1, offset RC. This horizontal for sure. Direction bias. So is horizontal is only dependent on direction bias. And that's only dependent on this. And that's not dependent on that. So let's do this. Is horizontal is director, delta RC, EC bias. EC bias is not used for anything before this, right? So now the question is, so we know horizontal versus vertical. So order is also not dependent on any of this stuff. It's only dependent on is horizontal. And then is horizontal is center line, center RC. And then offset RC, again, is dependent on order and is horizontal, but not on the other stuff. So that goes up. So at this point now we have access to offset RC. I mean, we're not debating the direction right now. We're debating center versus, so the EC biases, edge versus center. Let me think. Can we calculate a relative value that scales smoothly from 0 to 1? Because we don't know what the actual distances could be, right? Although the distances have a maximum value, because if the distance was greater than that maximum value, we would be looking at a different line, right? So for example, if my start line is on this side, yeah, we can never get this as our candidate. While if it's on this side, we can get that as our candidate, like that. The problem is I don't actually have these points until later down here. But I should be able to calculate those points earlier without the EC bias, because obviously we're calculating both of those points. In fact, we're doing this down here. All right, start. We have two lines. It's a bit annoying because depending, there's a whole bunch of stuff happening here. Because at this point, we don't actually know if A or B is our actual guess line. Let me move all this debugging stuff into that function. I think that will serve us better. So now it should all be gone, right? Yep, all gone. So our dots will be so we have 2 points, mid A, mid B. So that's mid A and then mid B. So if I go from here, let me move all of this into the tool. shouldn't be floating around out there anyways. Quite a specialized function. All right, so all right, come on, let's do this. That's wrong. That's wrong. What the hell? No way, if I'm here, should the blue pop over there? What the frick? Ah, okay, wait a second. The blue is... Does it really... It doesn't make any sense to me. Oh man, now I'm doubting the entire algorithm, and I just had an idea for a completely different one. Because basically, wherever the mouse is, so the mouse can be in two places. It can be in this square, and then these 4 points are the candidates. Or it can be in this square, and then these 4 points are the candidates. Those are the only two choices, right? Now, since the squares overlap, we would have to think of them as diamonds with diagonals connecting these edges, right? So if it's within this 45-degree tilted rectangle, then those are the points we care about. And if it's within these, those are the 4 points we care about, right? And I think that rectangle is determined by our distance from the nearest corner and edge point. Right. And whichever one is the nearest, that's the one we want to get derive the 4 corners off. So the nearest center point is easy because it's just whichever cell we're in. So let's draw a small line from our mouse cursor we're going to draw a small yellow line, or a whatever line, right? To nearest edge. And that line is going to go from the mouse to the, to nearest center. To the nearest cell, center. So it's going to start at well, we have 2 points, right, where we're coming from. So let's start with drawing a line A to B, or just AB line, right? And that's ARC, BRC, and we'll do it like this. I think that should be some sort of yellowish line. And we don't need that. All right. Do this so we can hide this one. So that should be just the line from A to B. So it's that little line, and we're going to make it more visible. Right. Secondly, we're going to draw a line to near center, A to center, A to center. A to center. Now the center is going to be RC dot around this, I'm guessing. And we're gonna make this FF0. Ah, no, this is this. So it'll be round and then RC dot add scalar 0.5. So that should always be the nearest edge, the nearest center. And God, if I can't see that. 3. See. DD. What was D? D. D. So that's the near center. Yeah. So whichever cell we're in, that yellow line goes to the nearest center. Let's actually make those red. All right. And then we'll make it blue for B to center. So it's BRC, BRC. We're gonna do a 00D. So we have a red line that goes to the center and a blue line that goes from the second line. And let's not add lines to the path at the moment. So after this, we're just gonna return. So we're not actually drawing anything. All right. All right, that looks reasonable, right? So the red line goes to the near center from the starting point and the blue line to the near center to the end of the end point. Sweet. Now we'll do A to nearest edge. A to, actually not edge, A to the nearest corner, A to corner. And we accomplish that by shifting this first. Right? So before rounding, we're moving it down. Right? So instead of calculating the distance from here, for rounding this, it becomes this. If we subtract 0.05, it becomes this. If we subtract 0.5, it becomes that. But this would also become that. Then we add 0.5 back in. 1 second. My brain. And let's do this with B first. Get rid of these. Because B is the one we can move. And then we're adding 1 back in? Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the closest corner point to our mouse. Yep. So we do A to corner. It should work the same way. Man, I can't believe I'm going back on that algorithm. But I wasn't too... There was something still not quite right. Okay. Now, if this was the right line to draw, those would be the most appropriate points to use, I imagine. Sorry, I have like a tickling in my nose. It's kind of dry, but I don't know. When I breathe, it's like there's a tiny little hair tickling my nose or something. Maybe I do have hairs on my nose. Maybe I need to cut them. All right. And let's make these chunky and these skinny. Right. And now what we can do is we can calculate Now what we should do is ignore anything, pretend this purple line is at most 1 unit long. Right? So in other words, we have a let AA equals ARC. And I think there's a clone function we can use. No. 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 I didn't make a clone function, seriously? Well. Okay. And then we can do bb equals, or let AABB equal, so that's the vector from A to B, rc dot sub AABB. We're subtracting A from B. All right, so then let AABB len equal. Do we not have an rc.length? rc. Ah, wait, no, yeah. rc.dist AABB. Like this. And then let C equal. So we take this. So that's the length of. All right. Then we'll do an RC mul 1 over ABB len. So that gets a unit vector starting from A, except it doesn't start from A. Unit vector as if it's, you know, the unit vector in the direction of B from A. And then RC add AA to this. And now, well, let's draw some dots. Let's draw dot C. And that's going to be at CC, CC, CC. And that's going to be a green dot. And then this should be RC mul scalar. Yeah, so that green dot is exactly 1 cell width away, which I can demonstrate by starting the cell. And if I go from here, it'll be at the center. Yeah, so that's the dot we're actually going to do our stuff with. So this is going to be AA, BB, AA, A, B, 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 and BB is just going to be CC now. Oh, AA, AA. Yeah, so now we're not going to get like weird artifacts because the mouse moved a long distance. And this gives us, yeah. So it's weird because this gives us the closest point. Now, if the closest point is the same point, how do we? So basically, we'd have to say if this is the same point as our closest point from the beginning, which will be the case if we do something like this. Yeah. If that's the case, we need to find the second closest point, which is not actually trivial. What we could do is we could find all 4 points and then just run the distances, right? And then find the closest one that's not the other. Or we could just, well, do we want to ignore these situations? Because that's not a valid line, right? it could indicate that at this point it doesn't make sense to draw a edge line. So it would give us... in fact, it doesn't have a valid line either way. Which is interesting, actually. So we know that there are some invalid combinations, right? It makes me actually want to go back to... So an alternative to this is to say, okay, we'll have 2 points from relative to the starting point, and then from those 2 points, we can only draw 4 lines, right? We can draw a line up, down, left, right from either one. And we could easily calculate the distances to those points of our second point. So maybe that makes more sense. All right. Yeah, okay. So we have A to center, B to center, A to corner. So this is let AAC, that's the A corner, point be this, and AA edge, AAE, is going to be this. So these are going to be our 2 reference points. So we're going to make a point at AAC a little smaller. AAC, we're going to do this one like that, and then dot AAC and dot AAE is going to be like this. That's AAE. Oh, I'm a visual thinker, so it's like I need to have a small idea and then I immediately need to look at it, right? So we have the yellow one and the purple, the turquoise one, and we're gonna make those a little bit more opaque. Otherwise, I have no clue what's going on here. Yeah, so those are our starting points. And now we'll get 4 options for each one. So 2, 3, 4 dot for each. So for cardinal directions, it's gonna be, we're just gonna, what's the easiest thing to do here? We're just gonna loop through the 4. Like we don't care if it's edge or line, right? So let's start to the right. So row plus 0, R0, column 1. Row 1, column 0, row 0, column -1, and row -1, column 0. So that should be the 4 directions we can go. D. Relative to the to either point, right? So that should just spit out these numbers. And if we add them to one of these guys, so let's make these 20. Now we're just gonna make yeah, rc.add let p equals let rc whatever d. So that's gonna be rc, and then we're gonna call these dash. We're gonna run the index in here, idx, and we'll make them a little smaller. And that should give us 4 points for each one. Well, right now just for the, yeah. So that gets us the 4 candidate lines, and then we'll do the same thing. And this is our RCC, and then we'll do an RCE. RCE, AE. This is dot AAC dot AAE. RCE 0FF small point ACAE RCE RAAED blah 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 blah. All right, I think that's it. So that should get us 4 more points for the candidates that the other line could be. Okay. So now, instead of using the B2 center here, what we really want to look at is at the distances between one and the other, yada yada yada. All right, so let dist corner equals array, and let dist edges equal array. And we're just going to do dist corner idx equals rc.dist from... No, now we're comparing it to our cc dot or bb. So dist from bb to rcc, and dist from bb for the other one to rce. All right. If this doesn't make a lot of sense to you, bear with me just a little longer. Basically what I'm doing is I'm finding the two likely starting positions, the closest center and closest corner. Then I calculate all 4 possible directions we can go to. Then I calculate the distances from those 4 points to our end position. And now if I compare the two, so we now have 8 possible lines we could draw based on our starting point and ending point, right? So if I start here, then these are kind of potential ones, right? And they're all valid lines, right? So for example, from here to here is not a valid line, or from here to here is not a valid line. So it's not part of these 8, right? And we're basically now, we don't actually need to look at the starting position. I'm wondering if if we should also do 4 starting positions, because then it'll be 4 times 4, 16, 32 distance calculations, not a big deal. Like, is there ever a situation where instead of starting from here, let's say starting from here or here or here would make more sense? I don't think so. Right. So we don't actually care about the initial distance then. We do care because it gives us a handicap depending on if we're close to the... Yeah. All right. So, let's find the smallest distance then. These are just number arrays, so we can actually sort them. So we can just... Problem is, if we sort them, we don't know which one it is, right? So let's just do this. Min dist c equals math number dot max save integer min dist e equals math dot min between this and this. Min dist e and dist e. Min dist like that. Okay. So can I do That should work, right? Because we're assigning the same value. I think that'll work. So that should give us indexes into the actual points. EE, CC, minus C, minus E. Shouldn't they occasionally be different? Ah, yes, sometimes they're different. Okay. Not often, but sometimes. All right, so let options equals, you know, that. So we have A to center. So let's see, let closest RCC equals, and we're starting from AAC. So AAC, this options. Man, this will all simplify like crazy. But right now I'm just gonna follow the flow. All right. And then we'll go closest RCC. From B to this one. And from this one to this one. So now the thick lines indicate this would be our center line from here to here, which is interesting. And the thin lines would indicate our edge lines is actually from here to here. The problem with this is it once again gives us, it can give us reverse lines. Is that something I care about at this stage? Because... no, wait a second, not a reverse line. We're going from here to here. It's actually telling me it's vertical from here to here. Which does actually kind of make sense. Yeah, it's actually the opposite. We won't get reverse lines here. Okay. So now we can do a debug line from... so closest, closest. So start. Let start RC C equals this. That's our start RCC. This is our start RCE. So start RCE. And now we can do a line from center candidate. So that's from start RCC to closest RCC. And we're gonna make this one quite chunky. Make this 20, and which one is the color for center lines? This, but we're gonna make it more transparent. And then we gotta do edge candidate, and that goes from start RCE to closest RCE. And it'll be D00. And let's see if those lines make more sense to us. Yeah. I think previously we never got crossing candidates, actually. So this is kind of what I was hoping for, is that the direction isn't independent So like if you have a diagonal line, then it's very possible that slightly different directions would result in slightly different candidate lines, right? All right, so now the question is, we can align the candidate, we can choose our candidate according to our final distance differences or by the angle, for example, right? I think previously we used the angle. So let's try the total distance, I guess. And I guess we can do the sum of squares, the sum of square distances, right? So our start distances, whoops. No. So our sum of our start distances we had already calculated up here somewhere. Start distance. No, we didn't actually. We never did. All right. Console.log center dist. So the start distance would be from AA to this, and the end distance would be from BB to closest RCC. And then we have edge dist, and that'll just be to the E values. Now these are small numbers, so if I square them, they become even smaller, right? Hey, what's going on? Oh, alright. Getting hungry, I need a snack. What time is it? 5. Tempted to make a short break, have a snack, and then start another stream. I need to finish this today, but it's gonna be a bit longer. I could put the stream on a break screen while I grab a snack. It's a consideration. I've done that since my Twitter days. So I guess you'll be back in about an hour or so? No? 2 hours? Alright. Let's see, it's 5 now. Oh, will it be dark by then? I guess so, eh? Would it be nice to walk Toby while it's still a bit light? Maybe. Maybe I can finish this like in an hour and then walk Toby a little bit while it's still light out. Wait. Yeah, we didn't do pizza yesterday. Yeah. Because it's... Wait, is it Friday?
Today's Thursday.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was Friday for some reason. Yeah, then I've been wanting to go to the mini-mart to get some veggies for the pizza and stuff. So I don't think we have good ingredients left. I'll check, yeah. Alright, ciao ciao. I should have muted my mic while I'm talking. Alright. I'm just thinking, should I just take the sum of the distances or the average? I mean, usually I do a mean square error, right? So you square the error and you calculate the average. Well, let's calculate the mean square error. So you sum... you sum the squares of the error and then you take the average. So let's say, okay, let mean square error, mean MSE for center, MSEC equals... So this is basically our error, mean square. So let... Yeah. Math.pow. No, let's just do this. Let CDA or ACD equals this. So that's the delta or the distance for the AC, and then we'll have BCD is this, and then we'll do a ED. So we have an E here, and again this will simplify once I figured out if it makes sense. So mean square error for C is ACD times ACD plus BCD times BCD times 0.5. I mean, taking the mean doesn't make much of a difference here. So AED, AED, ED, BD. And then console.log, MSE, MSEC, and MSEE. And one of these should be smaller than the other, ideally, until they're not. So now what I don't know is what the maximum value is of these. So the maximum distance we can have, like this is maybe even more than 1. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, the maximum distance is more than 1. Because our starting point is here. And our endpoint candidate, our closest, is here. And that's already quite a long distance. So we started here, right? So if I look at the blue lines, they're quite stretched there. So it's longer than 1 unit. And then the starting distance is always less than half a unit. Because if it's more than half a unit, it would be on the other side of the line. But it's interesting that the end distance, and that's basically one of the weaknesses of this, is like here, it will never choose a line from here to here, for example, right? Because we're starting from there. So I guess mathematically, the maximum distance, if I'm perfectly on this point, and then perfectly in the middle between these two. No, not between these two, between these two. So this would be square root of 0.5. No, square root of 0.5 squared is 0.25, 0.5 squared is 0.25, times 2 is 0.5, math is squared. So that's Pythagoras says square root of 0.5. So that's 0.07 on the starting distance. And then here it's 0.3 off of wherever I would end up otherwise. All right. I wish I could mentally convert this easily to a value between 0 and 1. What is this triangle, right? This would be 1 minus this square root of 0.7 on this diagonal at a 45-degree angle, right angle, 0.3. Well, here it's telling us, right? It's center distances. So we're talking about edge lines here. So this should be 0.7 maximum. This is more than 0.7. So they can be all the way up to whatever. Wait a second. If I take the mean error, that doesn't. It averages the error. It kind of devalues the fact that there's a lot of error, I think. Shouldn't I take the sum of the errors? But I'm averaging both, right? So that's fine. I mean, I could move around and then just find the maximum and the minimum. So the smallest value is obviously if I go from here to here, then the MSE would be almost at 0. So 0 is the smallest. And then the maximum, let's call it 1, whatever, right? So, because I want to use this to scale these, right? So let's say 2 plus 30 times 1 minus, and this is center, MSEC. and that's MSEE. So that should scale the lines according to how confident it is. So now it says red, now it says blue. Okay, and then we'll do one more thing. We'll draw a black line on the final choice. So if MSEC is smaller than MSEE, draw a debugger line. The candidate line from, so the RCE error is smaller. We'll make it black. And we'll make the confidence be the difference between the two errors. So if the difference between the two errors is maximal 1, we want confidence to be high. So math.apps MSEC minus MSEE. Right? And else we'll do it from the edge lines. I just want to visually see if this makes sense. And so far it feels actually really nice. So the black line is there. Now it's low confidence. Now confidence went up a little bit, but now the blue line swapped. And now here the line is just slightly biased towards the red. And now the confidence on that goes up. And here, confidence swaps. Confidence goes over there and there. Wherever we do this, yeah. So we start from, yeah. Now this works, this is immediately jumping to the end of the line, right? So instead of jumping to the end of the line, we want to have a minimum of that. So math.min math.minimum 1 or this. So now this will allow for shorter lines. So this lets us more accurately judge where we're coming from, right? What the hell? How's that possible? Wait a second. Oh, there's some sort of rounding something's going on. The frick? Those purple lines are... Ah, yeah, wait a second. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing here. What I thought I was doing here, even. Where are we drawing the turquoise dot? We're calculating a new C, a new B. C. Distance AABB. AABB, blah, 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 blah. We're multiplying. We're dividing it by the length and then multiplying it by 1. But actually what we want to multiply it by is this. So we might multiply it by a smaller value. Yeah. So the candidates always depend on the starting line. The one thing I'm not sure is it better to consider the next line down? Probably not, eh? And like at this point, the center line is closer. Because my kind of, the direction you're going, it should be biased towards that. So what I mean is that even though here, this is slightly more likely, but because the starting point of this line is ahead of the starting point of this line, it feels like this line is actually better. I think that's something that's bothered me with the previous technique as well. Okay. But now we should be able to take all of this and immediately translate that into a new output. So basically, here our output will be well, let's first of all get rid of these. All right. So many variables, so many calculations, most of which probably for nothing. So now we got to go back to calculating our is horizontal or whatever, right? So let RC1, RC2. So here is RC1 equals start RCC. RC2 equals closest RCC. I'll do the same thing in this case. RCE and RCCE. So log RC1 slash RC2, RC1, RC2. And now horizontal is going to be calculated by let me think. The difference between the row and or column, right? RC2 dot row that determines our y coordinate minus RC1 dot row. And if that is small, because they are either horizontal or vertical, right? So it's 1 or 0, 1 or 0, 1 or 0. Right? Smaller than the 0, 1, 5, that's our is horizontal. And then is edge line is just if it's round or not round. Let's just put these here. MSE, get that. So here horizontal is true. Now it's false. True, false, true, false. So the black line switches from red to blue. Now it's always true for either candidate. All right. And then is center line is going to be so edge line is when they're round, center line is when they're not. So RC1 dot whichever greater than math.round, math.floor, RC1.c. So right now we're on centerline mode. So the second is true. Now we're gonna make it edge line. Come on, give me an edge line. Nope. Don't know if I can even make it an edge line from there. Is it always gonna be a center line? Ah, here we go, edge line. So now it's false. Okay, so that's is center line, and that's is edge line. And then these three bias values, I don't think we're using them anymore. We were only using them for the debug stuff. Okay. So instead of going all the way down here, we can just return RC1, RC2, these two values, is horizontal, is vertical, and the rest we don't care about. And now, well, we're not actually using the output yet. So we have a return in here. Now, does it all blow up because I've removed some of the other things? Okay. That's fairly natural. Now we have center lines going. Yeah, oh, no, edge lines. Well, starting from here, it's hard to get edge lines going. And I think that's one of the problems was that when I was testing, I tend to hold the mouse button down, and when you're touching, that doesn't happen. Like, you don't go back and then keep touching. You will take off and then start again most of the time. So if I want to just erase this. So the litmus test for me is I scribble something and I say, okay, I want to delete this exactly without thinking about it too much. And that if that works, then it's a good sign. So if I want to do this, right, and then let's say we'll do some more scribbling, right, and what the fuck just happened? Didn't I just scribble a bunch of center lines and then it ended up all being edge lines? That was weird. But it could be just that I haven't really updated all the uses of the function yet. The problem is I didn't even save the other version of this algorithm. So what I'm gonna try to do is to maintain it, to keep it. And keep all this debug stuff around. Just get rid of, like, hide it. For now. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Right, get rid of these. And then a lot of these things don't want to be looping through the stuff. Oops. Let me just check the chats. Do we get any stream errors today? So far everything is looking good. Right, we still have the points, that's fine. Yeah, that definitely flopped around. I think what's happening is on the other end where it calculates what yeah, we'll look into this in a sec. Okay, so direction bias is not used anymore. Is horizontal is not used. Offset RC, not used. Order, not used. So order is guaranteed now, because we're always going from the point that's closest to another point, right? This, I don't think we need to do in here, because from the outside, once we've drawn the line, we're starting from a new point, right? So this algorithm should not make any judgment on the ending point, right? It should just use whatever we give it. So we can actually get rid of this and this. And I don't think we need this then either. And we probably don't even need this. Right. Oop. Yeah. So then we're probably 118. 118. Yeah. Well, we're not using direction bias. We're not even using delta RC. All right. We don't even use these midpoint calculations either, or the endpoint calculation, or even the length calculation. Because we're creating candidates start from the starting point, and then we just use the distance to the ending point as our candidate chooser. So we're actually doing less maths on that end of things. Yeah, see, I was thinking I was drawing here. Still, why is this not a erase action? Why is that shifting as I'm drawing? That's a little strange. That is a little strange. Did I keep the other function, the function up here? No. I don't even have code for the previous function now. That makes me feel a little scared. It's all in the undo buffer. If I want to go back now. Might actually not be a bad idea. I don't know how far back I'd have to go though. No, I'm confident in this function. I think this is better than what we had before. So we can get rid of these. Min RCC and min RCE. And we'll do if this is smaller than min dist c, min dist c equals this. And I think we don't even need to keep distance c out here. So we'll just min RCC equals RCC. Wait, RCE. We'll move that down here. Equals RCC. And then here we're gonna just do let dist c equals, and we'll get rid of that. And then we'll do the same thing for the E stuff. Let dist E, RCE, RCE, dist E, min dist E, E. And then we don't need any of this stuff, right? RCC at, wait, where's our RCE? There. Get rid of that, and get rid of these. All right. And we'll turn that into a regular loop so we don't have the 4 function calls in here. Or no, let's actually get rid of all of this. Let's keep it simple. And then min, yeah, that's actually just closest RCC and then closest RCE. Already calculate those, right? So that should still work. All right. And here we're calculating the errors. We're calculating distance from A. Did we not calculate distance A distances previously? No. We just drew lines, right? Hurts me a little to delete all that. A lot of sweat and tears went into that. Find closest of 4 possible candidates for center/edge line. I'll get rid of that. RCC, start RCC. So instead of AA, well, just do this now. We're not modifying AA anymore. For AA, rc.round 0.5, start RCC. Okay. Center. Like, I gotta get rid of that RCC bollocks. That's just hurting my brain, right? So, because I'm just realizing that is this. So center A equals this. And then edge A equals this. This. So now instead of this, we're going to do center A and then center edge or edge A. So that is now AAC is center A and AAE is edge A. Edge A. So now we can get rid of these altogether. Like, we'll never be able to make a edge line down here starting from there. Okay. So center B or P, center point closest, center closest. You know what? I'm gonna put it at the end. Closest edge. I think that makes more sense. So we have closest center. So closest RCC becomes closest center. Closest edge RCE. Closest RCC right here. And center A becomes A center. A center. A center, center A, center A, center A. And then center P becomes P center. All right, and then we have A edge. A lot of my life I've wasted renaming things that probably didn't need renaming. Is unlimited. All right, and then we have P edge. Give it a more reasonable name. And then we have edge. No. Dist edge. Dist edge. And then min dist center. Min dist edge. So min dist center, min dist center, min dist edge, dist edge, dist center, dist center, dist center, center, dist edge. Okay. Did I blow it up? Yep. RC is not defined. That's P edge. Okay. Now BB is not a thing anymore. ACD. So that's A center from ARC. ARC. So I think now we can get rid of A and we should get rid of B as well. So BB, that should be just BRC. That's the row column value that we're passing in. All right. Okay, that still works. All right. PH. Is there something we can simplify here? I guess we just got to do them all, eh? And we need a distance and we need a point to calculate the distance from. And that's these two variables. I mean, I can put them in one line because they're super related. But I've done this so many times. I mean, there's some shenanigans with sort and what you can do, but now let's make these a little bit more descriptive. So that's the distance, dist A center. and dist B center. Well, dist BRC to this center is our min dist center. So dist B center and dist, wait, dist. Wait a second. Minimum distance center, min dist center is relative to B. So BCD would be this, and then min dist edge would be these, and then we'll need the distance A center, right? And I don't think we calculate that anywhere else. So dist A center goes here, here, and then dist A edge goes from A to edge, and it goes here and to here. And this doesn't exist anymore. Dist B center is minimum distance, which we've already calculated, and we can just reuse. Okay, so that all disappears. And we calculated two mean square errors for center and edge. Let's just write these out. And then we return, and that's it. So something weird is happening here. Something strange in the neighborhood. You saw that if I drew the line outside of the cage, okay, inside the cage, outside the cage, inside the cage, outside, inside. Okay, so that's definitely wrong. So I can't use these anymore because I'm not, and these I can use. Oh, shoot, force center line. If force center line or we still have to find the closest edge, so it doesn't save us much to not go through that algorithm. Okay, that was weird. Now I wish I wouldn't. I knew I was gonna wish that I wouldn't delete all the freaking debugging markings. Why did I do that? Why do I always do that? I do it every time, and then I always regret it. Every single time. All right, let's draw the 5 points in again. I kind of like those. So start center or a center. So that's gonna be a big chunker like that. No, actually we don't want to do it red. We want this to be turquoise, maybe something like that. All right, we do want to have a AB line. So that goes from ARC to BRC. And this is going to be relatively skinny, but quite opaque. And we're going to make that black. I want to say black, but I'm going to do it some sort of dark color. Okay. And then we'll do a B center, or a edge actually. Like that. So that gets us the 2 centered points. So I draw from here to here. Okay. And here we're going to just draw from a canned line, or canned center. So it's candidate for center. It goes from A center to, from RC1 to RC2. And the line is going to be like that. Edge. And that's going to be like that. Actually, no, we want to draw both candidates, not just the selected one. I said I was gonna finish this today. Promised myself. And now I feel like I'm still quite far from finishing, because even once I finally decided on an algorithm, I still have to polish it up. Like, for example, here, I'm always getting the center line, even though I feel like I'm closer to the edge line. Did I mess up what I'm using for the error calculation? Dist A center, dist A edge, min dist center, min dist edge. Distance edge goes to P edge, P center, C or C edge. Let's see what's going on here. So the first error is center. So the center is smaller. Okay, fair enough. Here, yeah, so this doesn't make sense. The center error is smaller than the edge error. But then the edge error, wait. First one is center, second one is edge. Then forced center line, and then finally, if center is okay. Why is this? I mean, I have this distance, but I also have this distance being small. Now this is going to be long. Here it says edge line. Now we're edge line. Like, how does this? How does that flop over to center line? The error here. So we're definitely on center line, and then it swaps. Like, what the hell, man? So what happened was we added a point to the line, and that made us choose a new starting point, right? ARC. If current path and length is greater than 0. So the path length became greater than 0. And now we're recalculating from the previous path point. So this happens when we're adding to the path. All right, so add to path. And is center line and is horizontal. Let's see. So I start close to a corner, and this should force an edge line. So center line is true. Then how did we end up adding? So is center line. These are swapped. These are reversed. Aren't they? Is horizontal is center line. Is horizontal. And this, no, they're not reversed. So horizontal is true. Is center line is true. Console.log is center line, and here an output edge line. There's still something buggy in here. So I start near the corner and I go upwards. So center line, add to path true. Is center line is true, but somehow we didn't add a center line. So this was all, no wait, edge line, but it kept saying center line. Oh, what the hell? Why is forced center line true? The error is always like in something much stupider than you can imagine. How is forced center line true at this point? Forced is center line is true here. Is line type is center. Why is line type center? We're not even drawing a line yet. This should not happen until we've reached our minimum length. Yeah, this needs to wait till we're in here. And then the reset will reset it. Maybe that was the problem all along. I'm actually wondering if, can I ever create a line of the other type? Yeah, I can. even though I'm very close to our centerline starting point. Okay, so it's not just the positioning of the starting point. That's what I wanted to check, right? Now the minimum distance, is that calculated along... And we don't need these, because I think the clipping we're doing it right elsewhere, right? Yeah. Right. What I don't understand right now is... Before, like earlier, I was drawing lines like this, and suddenly it would flip their direction. And now it doesn't do that anymore. And I thought that problem would be elsewhere to be found. So I'm guessing it is not elsewhere, after all. So instead of if line out of bounds, we can just say if this, then this. I mean, I can, if I reverse this, if smaller than 0 or greater than or greater than smaller than 0 or. And then we don't need to negate it, and we'll get rid of a bunch of braces. Simplify, simplify, simplify. All right. Line out of bounds is not the out of bounds. Why does that switch to a delete? Wait, so we have this. Why did it switch to delete mode? That seems strange. Yeah, you see, that happens still too often because I'm right-handed and I tend to drag the mouse in a slight diagonal direction. And I bet you if I output if I drew the bugger line here. So imagine I just want to delete these two. Right? So I do this quickly. Okay, that worked. See, it's longer. And it still worked. Still, doesn't reset properly. Oh, I crashed the console. All right. Poor thing. All right, I think we need to proceed from here. I wish I would have kept the other algorithm in a separate function so I could swap them out and kind of field test them against each other. But I think for now, I need to get back into a state where the whole thing is just functional again. So this has never happened. And I don't think I need that check anymore because we're basically doing this afterwards, right? We're not doing any divisions there or whatnot. Line out of bounds, yeah, that happens here. Then we just return. All right, force the center line. We don't need to log that out anymore. Current path length. Path len equals at this current path and that, or can I substitute 0 here? If it's greater than 0, if and current part length is less than or equal to 1, and input length I just want to shorten all that double referencing down here. Okay, I think all of that should still work. Now this is short enough that it can become a one-liner. All right, you're still outputting some stuff there. All right. This time I'm just gonna comment them out. All right, so far so good. Line reset's happening a bunch. I can live with that. Debug path we're gonna get rid of now. We're eventually gonna get rid of the debug lines and all that nonsense. Let's add our deprecation underscores here. I mean, the important thing now is to actually test it on mobile devices. And it's hard to do that until I actually release it into, at least onto the test server, right? So we can then put that there. Did I not? I don't think I even created a branch for this because I was so confident it's going to happen so quickly. What did I fix there? On lower edge. Pen center. Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to create a feature branch for this. Now that I'm saying that, might as well. So let's get rid of the debug lines. Create line hint. Create line marker. Middle tool, get center edge lines, debug line, draw debug. So let's get rid of that. Then get rid of that and get rid of that. Puzzle is loaded. We don't need that anymore. Find puzzle has, nope, okay. Find debug. I'm gonna regret this. Here I am doing it again. All right. Let's see how quickly I'm going to regret it. I think that's the real question. All right, I feel now I have much more control than I had before. And that weirdness is gone as well. Like that one, I was trying to do this, but obviously if I'm mathematically closer there, I mean, there's something to be said to bias it towards the end point, because it's more likely that you've misjudged your starting position and then your end position is, it's like, I might draw from here to draw a center line, right? So I could bias it against Yeah, so all of this is no longer. Basically, I could say, instead of just making this smaller than this, I could say this has to be smaller than... no, not this. That the... Like, we're adding a multiplier bias to the front or the back, right? So if I want to devalue the error at the end, I could say 0.5 times. So, like, let AB bias equals 0.7. B preference equals... Yeah, whatever. The smaller this number is, the more it'll prefer where the endpoint goes, right? So let's say I start from here, but I go... No. Yeah. No. If I do this really small, then it should almost ignore the endpoint. Ah, no, wait, we want the opposite, right? If we want the endpoint to be... I'm getting this wrong. If I want the error at the front to be more important... Yeah, no, I want to exaggerate the importance of the error at the front, at the back. So the larger this number is, the more important it is for the end to be close. So if I start here and I draw towards that point... Let's see how big that needs to be, actually, for this to work. So I start here. Huh. I make this huge. Huge. I'm guessing the problem is both of the errors are so large. Or, no, because I don't want to bias between center and edge. I want to bias the front from let's try a different experiment. Let's get rid of this for a sec. And only consider the endpoint, right? So we can do 0 times, I guess we could have done that before, 0 times that, 0 times that, and then 2 times that. And we'll just only look at the endpoint. So I can start here. Yeah. Thing is, to get to this point from here, I'm gonna pass close to that point. Did I just get... The frick? No, dude, no. No! No! Ah, frick. Is that because of this? It shouldn't be. Because we should have a locked line by that point. I don't know how that could cause it, because if we have... It forced this... wait. No. Wait a second. If... Let is center line equals this. If force is not undefined, new equals force is center line. If is center line, and then the which argument, which return value is the actual centerline, the fourth argument, right? Fourth return value, here we go. And then it's horizontal. Just gonna write that out because it'll kind of document the code a bit. Then people don't have to guess which is which. I think because force is central and it has three different values: undefined, true, or false. And if it's undefined, I ignore it. If it's true or false, I need to consider it. Yeah. I need to make like a little mini game, like a Hotwire game or something like that, to encourage people to test the thing. All right. Can probably do this. I don't know if this area being created, like every time you drag the mouse, makes a big difference, to be honest. I don't know if it's worthwhile making that a constant somewhere else and so on and so forth. All right, so let's have a look at the actual diff of this now, the fallout. Helpers, can I get rid of these? Get input RC. Am I using this? Yeah, I suppose. Distance, I'm using that here, just the line. Progress along line. I'm not using that anymore. Add to path is only used in one place. So these I'm gonna take out, but maybe I'll keep a copy of them somewhere. This add to path, I guess it can go back in there. Convert add line functions to use get centerline algebra. Perhaps merge add line functions. Yes. Okay. Then add to path is this RC next. So RC2 next RC. So this is just going to be RC2. RC2, RC2, RC2. And current path. Can we just do this? Then we can get rid of that and that. Well, we already have pathland now. All right. If, else if, yada, yada, yada. All right. I think that still keeps it all. Nope. Did I? Move get input RC. Oops. Okay, that's the one function we've added. What about that one? All right. I think this is it. So we've added get edge centerline, we added init, we removed add centerline RC, removed edge line RC, we added line reset, we added get erase mode. Get erase mode, is that something that we're actually using? All right, so that encapsulates all of this stuff. Okay, fair enough. Move these closer to where they're being used. Oh, AB len is input len. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we don't have input len anymore. We only have AB length. So the line reset thing is, I'm actually not sure if that was added because we had something along those lines somewhere. So this is the new algorithm. That's the biggest chunk of code. We replaced those two with this. And I think taking the path and deconstructing that into the puzzle actions, that's fine, because the path fully describes each line, if it's horizontal, vertical, center, or edge, etc. So this is our clipping. All right, so board clipping, find line type, board clipping, draw line hint. Or new line segment. All right. AB min distance. We move it to the top here. Start RC, input RC. Start. I'm wondering if the whole AB thing, if I should just replace it with start and input. Because it's actually not used that many places now. Input RC. Just gonna change that to input length. And then these two aren't used anymore. Oh, not this. Right, so, whoops. Erase this line. Let's quickly. Is it just me or is it a bit, it's flickery? Shit. I think I just added that. How long ago did I add that? We had this issue previously. And I thought I was calculating two different lines. I think it's because we have to recalculate the input length here once start RC gets reassigned. Like that. Yeah, no more flickering. Yeah, because it's then using the old length value and then doesn't draw the line and draws the line again, etc. Back and forth, back and forth. All right, I think this is now ready for testing. I can fiddle with the code forever and it's still going to be an ugly mess. I mean, so much of it is just nothing. Nothing burger. Just put that down there. And I'm using path length here. Input length is used there. Here it's reset. Here we're just figuring out if we're going to do a line reset. And then here, instead of deleting all these, can we line reset? If we line reset, do we want to reset the start position? No. Current path, line type, erase mode. Current path, line type, erase mode. This dot line reset. Line part. Move start position, line dragging. All right. Yeah, the line part is just the hint line, I think. Oh. The other actions are all broken. Shoot. Oh, god damn it, what did I do? God. When did that happen? I think earlier today I did accidentally... Okay. I think so. Handle input up. So line dragging is true. Why is line dragging true? So what's the second thing that's true? And let's have a search-a-rooney for that. Handle drag start. Handle drag start. Line dragging is false. Line dragging, here it's undefined. If cell is undefined, somewhere we're not going through the same motions that we used to. Drag start, cell, line dragging is undefined. How is that possible? And once again, we're gonna put the line reset in your current line type. So current path, line reset, current path, line dragging, line type, and erase mode. So line dragging is false. Here, line dragging gets set to true. Line dragging false, line dragging false. Delete this dot line dragging. Drag start. Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. Current path, line type, erase mode. There you go. So, once again, click. So line dragging is false. So click cell. So we're never hitting click cell yet. So Click cell happens in input up. Yeah. So line dragging needs to be false. Check. Did move needs to be false. Not check. Drag, start, pause, input, pause. So I have some suspicions. What is going on here? Yeah, save it. Oh man, I was so hoping to finish this today. Input position is an XY position. Get input RC. And then the problem is handle input up did move. Did if how about if did input move? What if we do that? Does that work? Is that just gonna work? App's not defined. Don't think we're even using that. All right, I think that fixes that. Ay. That was a bit of a puckering. Are we finally clean of bug stuff, problems? Now, obviously, we don't have the upper edge. And I broke erase mode. God damn it. Not erase mode. I broke draw line hint and erase mode. And in fact, god damn it. It's not even handling drag end at all here. This was working before. Line dragging. Is this not true now here? Line dragging is... I don't think line dragging actually should have any influence anymore. Because it doesn't make sense, right? Like either we moved and we drew a line or we didn't. I don't care if line dragging is involved or not. So imagine we start from here, make a square and end here. I don't know if did move will go around. Hey, Sophie. No, it's not open source. It's all my application secrets. But if you press F12 in your browser when you have the app open, You might have a chance to look at it. It's not particularly well hidden. So I think we can get rid of line dragging from all over the place now. Hey Mark. Yeah. Everything comes out, everything goes back in, everything comes out again. So I think probably makes sense if not to move. And let's do that. That's fine. Line dragging comes out. Don't think like I don't remember why I had line dragging, to be honest. I mean, that's what the did move is for. Yeah, this. Why? Let's start from here. Do I get a center line? I mean, I know why, because my end and starting position errors, because this is offset, right? So even though the line I'm drawing is along here, I'm closer to these endpoints. There's something to be said of not taking just the endpoints into consideration, but the line itself, right? Like, I'm drawing a horizontal line, maybe I should only look at the vertical error rather than the two-dimensional error. I'm just hoping I don't make something worse, because sometimes I put things in because I realized why I needed them, and then later on I look at them and I'm like, oh, that's stupid. Why did I ever do that? And I remove it, and then I have to learn again why I did it in the first place. Yeah, no, I have so much stuff that's more urgent. I need to get the release out. I need to get the editor into some sort of shape, because if I stay away from, like, it's been a whole week now I've been working on this. I haven't touched the editor in a week. This was supposed to be a one-day thing. And if my brain gets out of something for too long, then the work is basically for nothing. Like the last time I touched the backup system was in December. It's gonna take me several weeks just to get back into that. And it was 90% finished. So it's very, very bad that I do these things. That I bounce around between different things and not finish them. It's very, very wasteful. Click sell. And I have a long list of must-do things that aren't as exciting as these like things that I like to do. I'd love to add new features and twiddle with algorithms and stuff. This is too much fun, but in the meantime, I'm paying, you know, extra money every month for the server. I don't get my Patreon links out in front of people because the release isn't out for months now. You know what I mean? Oh, and I was supposed to call my accountant today to get the invoice sorted out for Simon and Mark, so I can pay them. And I didn't even look at my to-do list yet, I think. What time is it? Yeah, it's too late to call him now, and it's only Thursday. Maybe I can do it tomorrow at least. Alright, I think I'm gonna push this for... I'm gonna push this for testing. It's gotta get tested, otherwise all this work is for nothing. Let me just make sure there's nothing weird going on with the thing. Actually, let me run a test game quickly. Let's do a quick Sudoku solver puzzle. Let's just solve something quickly to get my brain unhinged again. Brain unlimited. I don't know if it's that much better now. I'll have to use it on a mobile first, but it was unusable before, largely. So if it's usable now, then it'll be better. I know you don't use a mobile device to play, so I'm afraid I cannot trust your judgment there. And I know that it was pretty shitty for a long time, ever since I built it, because it was just a prototype at the time, so it was time that I took a closer look at it. Alright, so we know there's 6 down here. And these 4, I'm just gonna pencil mark the hell out of everything. If I have 4, that's good enough for me. No 4 here, 4 here. 5, 9. Let's see, 2 1s we don't have a lot of. 3s, that's a 3. Okay, so 3 up there. 4s, 5s. That's not a 5. That's an 8 now. 6, 2. 6, 6, 6. 6, 2. No 8s. 4. 4, 4, 4. Well, got a 1 down here. 6s, 7s. 7 here, 7 there. 7 there. 1, 7. 7, 7, 7, 7. A lot of 1s. The rare moment of actually playing out Sudoku. Alright, so 9 here, 8 there, 9 there. All the 9's done. 2. 8's nothing. 7's done. And I guess that's a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many 2's do we have now? That wasn't very helpful. Surprisingly unhelpful, actually. 2, 3, and a 3, a 4, 5, and a 6. 3, 4, 6. I don't actually see how I can limit those except for the 4 here. 1s. 2s. Ah, there's only 2 missing here. 1 and 6. Here we go. Maybe that'll help. So 1 here. Yeah, I kind of have to force myself sometimes. So when Simon, I mean, I try to solve 1 Simon puzzle a day, although lately I haven't really managed to find the time. Even just to test, to make sure the servers run, keep an eye on things, you know. I mean, at some point, all of this is also supposed to be fun. To some extent. Yeah, oh. 8, 4. And if I don't at least try to have fun with it, then it's hard for me to make things for other people to have fun. There's got to be a little bit of levity in it. Oh, that's a 6. So what are these? That's not a 6. 6 is here. And these 2 are from 1 and 5. Can I resolve that? Yep. So I guess that's got, nope, that's not the 2. 1 and 3. Do these resolve? Nope. And do we have anything more on the 1s now? What are these? 1 and 3. Ooh. It's a 3, 1. 3, 3, 3. 1, 1, 1. 2, 3, 5, 6, 8. 5 goes in here. And I guess that'll be the 8, the 3, the 4. And 2 and 6. Like that. The 3, 1, 3. 1 in here. And that'll be a 4, 8, huh? Really? This has got to be a 2. 1, 2, 3, 5. And this is a 1, 2, 2, 4, 8. Nope, that's a 4. Okay, I think that's gonna sort everything out. Yeah, 8, 4, 8, and 4. These links, for example, I'd like to get them out into the actual app. Oh, for a second I thought it wasn't gonna work. I gotta make sure. My redirects are really slow for some reason, so I might actually, before I release it, get rid of the redirect there. Do you use the pen tool there? All right, that's it. Let's, well, I didn't actually do any commits, so there's no point doing a branch now. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna bump the version. Don't know if I want to keep that. I should. It's quite a good algorithm, actually. Wait, did it not bump? Bump npm run. Yes, I meant one of these with your silly pattern matching. And of course, I haven't fixed that yet. So I have to go in there and manually change the patch version, which feels silly. The hell? Oh man, I have to get rid of this Naomi. Anyway. So, the yada yada yada. Pen tool tuning. Don't even know what to call that. So much work, and in the end, it's best if nobody notices I've ever done it. All right, so we're in master. Gotta update the puzzles. All right, I'm gonna call it here for the stream. It's already 7 anyways. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna finish early. No, gotta buy some ingredients because it's pizza day and it's my job to do some pizza today. Well, it's also a public holiday and everybody's like, oh, what are you gonna do on a public holiday? I'm like, the internet doesn't care. Doesn't care about our silly public holidays. All right. All right. We're gonna deploy script, and while we're at it, let's update SudokuPad.app as well. Actually, I need to update the scripts there now to the new server. Yeah, they're still on AWS 2. Be careful in the future that I don't deploy to the wrong server, which is shut down now, I believe. I didn't even get as much as an email from Amazon about that. It was very strange. I would have thought they make more of a fuss about it. But all I saw is like if I go into the console now, it just says closed or something. Very strange. By the way, I'm finally going to add some Patreon benefits. So there's a couple of things that are going to go to Patreon soon, including a link shortener service for setters. I'm probably going to release like an early alpha version of the editor there soon, just to patrons. And patrons over a certain level will get access to the desktop version for free on itch.io, as well as a sort of early build of a Mac OS version. So if anybody here is interested in that, drop me a note and I'll let you know how to go about it. All right, I think that's it for the release. I think this script has run. We should really I don't know. Let's do another test puzzle, I guess. Let's go to... let's do like an XQ or something. Like this one. And that should now have the new pen tool. Well, we'll never know if it works well. It'll just feel slightly nicer over time. So I'm gonna do this one, and then that'll be it for the stream. Let's solve this Sudoku. Well, it's an Sudoku X Windoku, I believe. I'm not sure if they have like a better organized formal name. The 2 here, well, that's not super helpful. 4 down here, also not super helpful. There's no 5 here. So there's a 5 in one of these two also, but I'm in small digit mode, which I don't need. 6. So there's no 6 in the gray cage there. This is actually really sparse. Ah, wait, 8. 8 can't be here. 8 goes here. All right, we got something. 8 goes there. Where else does the 8 go or not go now? Alright, so there's a 7 here, so there's no 7 there. That's about it. Ah, there's a 1 here. Means no 1 there. The 1 up here. 2. Oh, only 1 2. That cage. So there's a 2 here. 2 here. 2 here. Ah, it's a 2 here. And no 2 here. That's a 2. It's not a 2. Not a 1. 1, 5 goes there. That's not... Oh, no. 2 there and there. And 1s... Can't be there. Can't be there. On the diagonal? Here or here. So it can't be there. Let's see. Well, I guess 1 is in one of these places. Let's mark this up. 3, nope. That was not the control key. 3, 4, 7, 9. So these aren't 4s. And that's not a 7. 3, 7, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 8, 9. 3, 7, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's not a 7. 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 7, 9. So there's a 6 here or here. 9 here, 6 there. Alright. 3s, nothing. 5s. Wait. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Also not super useful. So 5s. This one up here. 6s. That's not a 6. 4s. No 4 there and there. So the 4 in this column is here. Is that a 4? It's not a 4. That is a 4. And takes place of an 8 and a 1. So that's kind of convenient. So no 8s here. So 4 here. Okay, 3, 7, 9 in this corner. What do we have down here? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Oops, I scrolled away from the chat. The tabs title still says 062. I'm guessing I'm playing the cached version. Seriously? Yeah, because I have to fine tune the caching here. Yeah, it was still in the cache. Thanks for the and that's why I don't usually test my own stuff. So awful at it. Just awful. I miss having a QA department, to be honest. I love my QAs. They're the best. Shout out to my former QAs, guys. Appreciated everything you did. 5, 6, 7, 9. 5. Well, there's no 7 here, so there's got to be a 7 there, which puts a 7 here. This can't be a 7 now. So that means there's a 7 over here. Oh. It's an 8 here or here, so that can't be an 8, which means this is an 8. There's 6 there. And then the rest of the 8s are here and here. Did we? Yes, we have narrowed down the 6s somewhat. There's a 6 here, not there. 6 there. 6 there. 6 here, here, and there. And not there, and there. I think that's all the 6s. All the 6s are done. 1s are almost done. 2s are done. There's a 3-8 pair over here. So that means that is a naked single 4. So that's 5, 7, 9. And any of these down? Any of these? Eliminate any of them? Nopes. Nopers. 7 on the diagonal needs to be here, so it can't be there, which resolves that 7. There's a 7 here, which means there's no 7 on this gray square anymore. So the 7 goes here, which means it's not there, which puts it there. So we've got a 5 and a 9 there. 7s. This diagonal now has to be here. And almost done with the 7s. 5, 9 there, 7. That's 5, 9 as well. Did I? Why did the video pause? Must have thought I fell asleep or something. Okay, 3, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. I'm guessing this cannot be a 4 or a 5, so that's a 9. 5, 4, 5, and 9. So that 9, so that's a 3 or 8. So these 3 are 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. This could be a 4, and it's going to be an 8. Alright, 9s. Here, here. Here, here. There can be a 9 here. In fact, neither of these can be 9s. There's a 9 here and up here. And these 3 are from 1, 5, and 7. This can't be a 1. This can't be a 7. And this is a 3 or a 9. We have a 3, 9 pair, so that's got to be a 1 or a 5. So this got to be a 3 or 9. This got to be a 5, 7. Which means this has got to be a 3 or 9. Just to complete the square. And since there's a 3 down here, this becomes a 9. 3, 9, 3, 9, 3, 9. And 3. Alright. 1, 3. It's not a 1. 3, 7. It's not a 7. 3 or 5. It's not a 5. And we're almost there. Now for the fun stuff of just filling in the digits. 3, 4, 8. It's a 3 here, 8 there. It's a 9. 3, 4. Diagonal. 9, 7, 5, and 9. All right. Thanks. Yeah, I don't think it, like on desktop you already have plenty of control and space to pick your lines. It was on mobile where I think center lines were really hard. No, not center lines. Edge lines were hard to do, or center lines. Anyway, yeah, I think it was center lines that were quite hard because the hotspots for the edge lines were much larger. Now the hotspots are basically identical, right? And I have more and more tabs open up everywhere. All right. Sorry about the rambling code hangout, but I was getting stressed out over it. I can't believe I did like, what, 4 parts on this now? I'm rusty on my vector math. And in the end, I actually got rid of most of it anyway, so it was a bit of a roundabout, circuitous passage there. For border X's. Feel free to send it, but like I said, I really gotta focus on getting the release out. I mean, that probably can make this release because it's probably a relatively small safe change because it'll be the same code as for the edge lines, you know, just like I added 9 and A, I'm gonna add B and C for the X marks, you know, and then a little bit of clipping, and that's about it. But right now my brain is tired, so I'm gonna take a break, and then tomorrow I'd like to do a little bit work on the editor just to get my brain, just to keep on top of it, make some progress there. But then over the next week, the focus has to be to get the release out. Yeah, time just flies, man. Every day I get a day older, just like that. All right, enough of me moping about. Really appreciate you guys hanging out. Thanks for the feedback, and very much appreciate any kind of testing you can do at test.crackingthecryptic.com. Let me post a message in chat for any latecomers as well. Please help me test. All right, that should be it. And then tomorrow we're getting back to the editor, where we can do things like that. Did I send you the thingy I did with the sound? I did a quickie with sound for editing. Let me see. I think I have it on a branch. No, it's not even on a branch. I think I just... Oh man, what did I do? I just dumped it in a file or something. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Maybe it's under notes. And notes. Where did I put it? Place notes. No, it wouldn't be under notes. It would be under this. I don't know if I sent you the video or if I only sent it to Simon. Why is it starting? Oh, seriously, there's this. The syntax highlighter is really screwing with me. Like, what the heck? Oh yeah, yeah. Like, I don't know. It just dies on this. This is a 5,000 character line. Come on, no big deal. Jeez. I'm not on the editor branch though. Yeah. Let me switch over. Alright, that'll be the last thing, and then we'll end the stream. I probably should just cut the last half hour of the stream off. Right. So I think all I need to do is dump this in here. Oh. Yeah. If my computer doesn't crash because of this stupid syntax highlighter. Holy crap. The only reason I think I switched to it as well was because it did JSX, which the standard one didn't do. I think I need to get rid of it. It's just not worth the pain. Alright, so... If I go to... I think I put it into cell add cell and delete cell. Line component, cage component, add cell, remove cell. I think I put it under these. So if I do this and this, And the two sound effects are these. And I think this one, I don't know which one is which one, to be honest. Let me silence the music just for one moment. Let's see, does this work? Oh, editor. And? Huh? Is this how Sudoku editing should work? Anyway, it was just an idea. It's just Minecraft stone block placing sounds. To be honest, actually, there's something off with them. I think they're playing too fast or something. I think they're supposed to be a slightly different frequency. No, definitely not. But somewhere, I think it randomizes that in Minecraft. Yeah, I don't think that's it actually. Yeah. Anywho. Definitely not something I'm gonna do in this release. Yeah, and obviously, like, for streamers and stuff, it'll be the last thing you want. But, you know, I've often thought about adding animations and sounds to the app, and I'd like to one day have the time and leisure to do that when I'm not constantly putting out fires or trying to add urgent, super necessary features. I forgot how well it was working last time when I left off. It's really time I get back to it. Yeah, there's bugs where, for some reason, I'm no longer able to select the cage afterwards. Yeah, it was working really nicely, actually. Can't wait to get some feedback of people actually starting to use the editor. Maybe I'll finally get my own channel besides the web app feedback one. Because there's one for FPuzzles and the other editors. So. All right, that's it. That's it for sure. Thank you for stopping by. The usual things, subscribe, Patreon, etc., etc. And feel free to get in touch on Discord, Twitter, the usual socials. PC 30 years ago. The only chess game I remember vividly, besides, you know, the obvious ones like Battle Chess and so on, was like there's this Turbo Pascal one with ASCII characters, and just always whipped the floor with me. I think it put me off chess, to be honest. And with that note, that's it. Take care. Have a good evening. Hopefully see you tomorrow in the next stream. That's it. Bye-bye.